Hey everybody, it's Paul here from Tribal Triathlete. I hope this video finds you fit and well. Today I'm bringing you a great interview with a chap called Ben Pratt. He's a natural sports nutrition expert, and I'll go on to just explain a little bit more about him in a moment. But we're going to be talking about why you can choose fats to be your primary fuel, and why that's particularly advantageous. One, to your health, and secondary to your endurance performance. So let me just give you a quick intro to Ben. Then we'll go on to explore the subject, and we're gonna talk for about 45 minutes, and it's gonna give you kind of a great insight into the subject. So Ben's a sports scientist and a nutrition expert. He's got over 20 years of experience in the health, fitness, and nutrition industry. He's author of a book called Nutrition's Playground. It's all about food in a roundabout kind of way, and he works directly with the Weston A. Price Foundation. He's a chapter leader, and he encourages a natural, real food approach of traditionally prepared foods. So he fits in really well with the tribal ethos, and when I saw one of the things Ben does a lot is talk live at events, and I went to see him at a Weston A. Price conference, and you know, he gave some great information about things that I talk about, but he backed it up with studies, and it was just super interesting talking to him. So I wanted to get him involved with you guys and kind of help you really come to terms with the whole thing that fat can be your primary fuel. So Ben, welcome.
Hi, how are you, Paul? It's good to be here.
I'm great, mate. Thanks a lot. So Ben, why don't we just start with like the whys, you know, why don't we start with why the traditional approach of sports or endurance fueling of isotonic drinks that provide us with electrolyte and glycogen might not be the most healthy way. Why don't we start with those things?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting subject. I think as well, you know, looking at sort of where you're coming from that sort of tribal or ancestral type movement, to then look at what people may have used as fuels in years gone by. You know, traditionally, our ancestors would never have been eating the kind of fuels that are encouraged today. Now, perhaps the angle that a lot of sports nutrition takes is they try very hard to, you know, point out that the things that they're doing today are in some way superior. They are scientifically backed, and that we are getting these highly engineered products. You know, unfortunately, when you begin to look into a lot of the products that are used to fuel individuals during sport, you know, when you look at the ingredients and what they've actually put together, you know, they're far from highly engineered. As a matter of fact, if anything, they're highly refined, and these are products that would never have been available to man at any point in our history until modern day.
So that suggests there's going to be one, a bioavailability issue with those foods, and secondly, normally with all refined foods, there's a massive health implication as well.
Oh, there's a considerable health implication. I can remember some years ago I was working with one of my students, and he was a triathlete, and he brought in I don't know, he brought in a sports drink. I won't say the brand. We won't denigrate any specific brand, but he brought in a sports drink that even has the term science in its name. It might immediately come to mind for some people. And we looked at this, and it was a 1.5 liter bottle, and we sat and worked out how much sugar was in that bottle. And there was over 200 grams of sugar in a single bottle. And I asked him, I said, how long would it take you on an event to drink that? And he said he'd probably have gone through 2 of those in an event. You're thinking 200 grams of pure sugar, and of that, because they used high fructose corn syrup, you know, probably 60% of those sugars are fructose. And fructose has the strongest and most powerful influence on our blood triglycerides, and therefore negatively impacting upon blood cholesterol level. So whilst on one front we're saying that it's highly engineered, it's going to drive up your energy levels so that you can utilize those fuels for your muscle tissue while you're exercising, at the same time it has considerable negative effects because of the ingredients that they use. Those are anything but scientific. The only reason they're scientific is because they've been scientifically engineered from corn, not because they carry any scientific benefit to the human body. So often these ingredients are used purely because there's bigger money to be made, because they're cheaper to utilize in the first place.
And just to get that clear, mate, that's 200 grams of sugar in that 1.5 liters is 40 teaspoons. Just so people get a kind of grasp of exactly how much sugar that is.
No, that's a huge amount of sugar, absolutely. You know, and to have when it's dissolved into a liquid form, I think sometimes we just are completely ignorant to how quick we can put those amounts of calories down, and the detrimental effect that that's clearly going to have on an individual's liver. You know, if and on their pancreas, to have to deal with that massive glycemic load is going to be intense.